This country should not belong to the Jews. It should belong to the white Australian people that built it.
This weekend has unveiled a couple of troubling incidents that have alarmed our community in Australia. We begin with reports of escalating racism and anti-Jewish sentiments that have resurfaced in Melbourne. Our first story involves an alleged hate-fueled incident where a truck belonging to Melbourne man of Palestinian heritage, Mr. Al-Hila, was set alight, with a witness reporting he also saw a man yelling Islamophobic statements. Victoria Police confirmed that a Molotov cocktail was allegedly used in the early Monday morning incident and that detectives are investigating. Although this incident happened on Monday, there was no public media release about the incident. On Friday only, the Islamic Council of Victoria, ICV, issued a public statement saying it was profoundly concerned about the incident outside Mr. Al-Hila's home. ICV spokesperson Adil Salman said the council was quite surprised that police did not put out a public media release about the incident. We would have expected there would have been an announcement expressing concern, expressing condemnation, but it's been radio silence, Mr. Salman said. In fact, we at TBN could not find any reports from the mainstream media covering this incident, apart from ABC, who had only reported this 6 days after the incident, after being informed by the ICV. It's hard to ignore the glaring contrast in the response to this incident compared to other recent hate-fueled crimes against the Jewish community.
Rocked by anti-Semitism, with a fresh attack in Woollahra that saw homes vandalised and a car set alight by suspects as young as 15. With Jewish communities on edge, the Prime Minister, Premier and police vowed swift action, but just out.
The lack of outrage and condemnation here from our politicians raises serious questions about our government's stance on racially motivated crimes. This unequal treatment will only heighten feelings of alienation and injustice, particularly for communities who face discrimination. Now, the other disturbing incident occurred on Friday evening, shortly before 7 p.m. A group of approximately 20 masked individuals associated with the Nationalist Socialist Alliance gathered on the steps of Parliament House in Victoria. Dressed entirely in black, these individuals unfurled a banner bearing the provocative words, "Jews hate freedom."
Freedom from the white man! The Jews must go! Freedom for the white man! The Jews must go! They said because their synagogue got firebombed that our political rights need to be taken from us. They probably bombed their own synagogue, but even if they didn't, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
the point remains.
Sorry, man.
What does that have to do with our political freedoms? Nothing. Why does 0.4% of the Australian population, the Jews, get to dictate to the Victorian government what our freedoms should and should not be?
As expected, there will be those looking to politicise this incident to further their own interests. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen commented on this incident. Masked Nazis on the front steps of our democracy with a mission to make Jews in our state feel unsafe, she said. Anti-Semitism is rising around the world. I refuse to let Victoria succumb to it. Now let me be perfectly clear. This display of hatred against the entire Jewish community poses a threat to our core values of respect and understanding and must be met with strong condemnation. We must separate anti-Israel sentiment from the Jewish community. We cannot hold the Jewish community accountable for the crimes, the genocide being committed by the State of Israel. We need to separate our criticism of Israel from the Jewish people. What we're seeing is two extreme positions regarding Israel. One extreme blames the actions of Israel on all the Jews. The other position is an effort to redefine anti-Semitism itself. It doesn't allow us to criticize Israel at all. Any criticism of Israel whatsoever is anti-Semitic. Now imagine if this view, this definition became the standard. We'd have to apply the same standard to every country. So if you criticize Saudi Arabia, that's Islamophobic. Criticism of Myanmar violations is anti-Buddhist. Criticism of India is anti-Hindu, and the list goes on. This means that no country would be held accountable to uphold human rights and international law, because every country would be above criticism. So when you can't apply this standard to all the countries, you can't allow it to be applied to just one country either. In fact, this framing of valid criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic, as we have seen from some politicians, is exactly what contributes to the rise of anti-Semitism, as seen here in this video.
Why do Jews dictate to us what our laws are, what our freedoms are?
He seems to be referring to the new legislation tabled by the Victorian government that will be debated in the new year. Now, while all attempts to strengthen laws against hate speech and racism should be welcomed, let's hope the government gets this one right and resists the pressure from pro-Zionists to shut down any criticism of Israel by branding it as anti-Semitism, as this will threaten our right to freedom of speech. Thank you for watching another episode of TBN. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, share and subscribe and support us for more videos. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.